From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
Well, the president's impeachment trial continues at this hour. It's going on at the U.S. Capitol.
We're going to take you to a live look at the trial. Today, House impeachment managers started prosecuting the case, and the president is charged with abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
Let's go to Sally Kidd right now. She is covering all of this for us on Capitol Hill. Sally, how are things playing out on this first official day?
Kenny, Talitha, opening arguments have been underway for a few hours now in the Senate. House managers have been going through the chronology, detailing what happened and when. House prosecutors lay out their case, accusing President Trump of using his power for personal gain and covering it up.
President Trump solicited foreign interference in our democratic elections, abusing the power of his office.
Arguing the president pressured Ukraine to investigate his political rivals while withholding a coveted state visit and military aid.
To secure foreign help with his reelection, in other words, to cheat.
Accusing the president of obstruction.
Ordered the entire executive branch of the United States of America to categorically refuse and completely obstruct the House's impeachment investigation.
House Manager Adam Schiff zeroing in on 3 days in July. Robert Mueller testifying before Congress on the 24th. The president making that call to Ukraine on the 25th, following up the next day with diplomats to ensure Ukraine's compliance.
Those 3 days in July tell so much of the story.
Schiff reading text messages and playing testimony from diplomats working to secure the investigations the president wanted, using the president's own words.
They should investigate the Bidens.
And this from Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney.
And I have news for everybody. Get over it. There's going to be political influence in foreign policy.
The president's legal team responding.
Adam Schiff today talked about quid pro quo. Notice what's not in the articles of impeachment. Allegations or accusations of quid pro quos. That's because they didn't exist.
Now, each side has 24 hours to present their arguments, so this is day one for Democrats. They have another couple of days to go, followed by the president's legal team. On Capitol Hill, Sally Kidd, WXII 12 News.
Sally, thank you very much. The president did weigh in on these proceedings today. He says he wants top aides to testify in the trial, but adds that national security concerns may prevent that from ever happening. We're also hearing tonight from Senator Thom Tillis about this impeachment trial. He tweeted, quote, "This sham impeachment is a waste of America's time, and the people of North Carolina are getting tired of it." Tillis is a Republican. He is up for re-election later this year and has been endorsed by President Trump.
Today's arguments could continue for a few more hours. There are several ways that you can watch the impeachment trial live. It's airing right now on MeTV, which is cable channel 1245. It's also streaming on the WXI 12 News Facebook page, WXI12.com, and the WXI 12 News mobile app. Tonight, NBC's primetime lineup will air as scheduled, but we do have a few programming notes for you. Due to coverage this afternoon, Days of Our Lives, Dr. Oz, and Tamron Hall did not air at their regular times, but you can find a full list of times and changes on our website, WXII12.com.
Happening now, people in Greensboro are about to get to know their soon-to-be police chief. Here's a live look at a community forum which is happening at the Peeler Rec Center on Sykes Avenue in the city. The group Greensboro Neighbors for Safety, Justice, and Well-Being for All put together this forum. Organizers say they want to start a relationship with the incoming chief of police and give everyone a chance to ask questions of him. Some of the issues that we're expecting to hear tonight include domestic violence, racial disparities, and gun violence.
We can't just use handcuffs and incarceration as a silver bullet fix-all for ending gun violence in our communities. And so I think we need to really think hard and work together for really thinking about how we're going to create safety for everyone in the wake of a lot of harm that's happened.
People are looking for transparency from him, accountability, openness, and I'm excited that he has stated that he intends to work with the community and that he is coming here tonight to start that open channel of communication.
And again, as we take one more live pick, there is the soon-to-be chief. This forum just getting underway right now. We do have a crew there tonight, and we'll bring you some of the highlights from this forum this evening. Tonight on the Triad CW at 10 o'clock and then at 11 right here on WXII. Brian James, the man we focused in on there just a moment ago, officially takes over as Greensboro's police chief February 1st. He grew up in the city and joined the department back in 1996. He says one of his biggest goals is to reduce crime throughout Greensboro. The current police chief, Wayne Scott, retires on the last day of this month.
New tonight, a family is sharing memories of their beloved son, 18-year-old, who was killed in his neighborhood. Officers say someone shot Brandon Tyson. They found him across the street from his home near the Brightwood area in Greensboro. Steve King spoke to Tyson's family, who is still, of course, processing their son's death.
Investigators with the Greensboro Police Department are still working to determine who shot and killed 18-year-old Brandon Tyson. On Monday afternoon, a neighbor told Brandon's father, William Davis, someone had shot Brandon at that house, which is directly across the street from Brandon's home on Fuel Road.
I went over there. I saw my son laying in the floor in the doorway, and I was trying to resuscitate him and bring him back, and, I couldn't get him, he was already dead.
Brandon Tyson was a Northeast Guilford High School graduate, going to Guilford Technical Community College to become an electrician. He loved music, was excited to get his driver's license soon, and his family is proud of the young man he was.
He was a loving, outgoing person. He didn't meet no stranger. He would help anybody that he could. He would help me around. He helped the neighbors because the guy next door had a back trouble, and Brandon went over there and helped him do some things around the house.
Now, Davis says the family is in such pain, they plan to move away from their neighborhood after they lay Brandon to rest, to get away from the area where Brandon was killed.
Right now, I'm hurt. I need to know answers. And, you go across the street, and your child is lifeless, and you holding them in your hand, in your arms, and somebody take your child away from you for nothing. It's just hard to describe, and I wouldn't want nobody to go through that. Nobody.
Again, police have not identified a suspect at this time. If you have any information about Brandon's death, call Greensboro Police or Crime Stoppers. Reporting in Greensboro, Steve King, WXII 12 News.
New details tonight about a hit-and-run crash that occurred in Winston-Salem, where officers tell us a driver involved in this crash on Robin Hood Road jumped out of the vehicle and ran. They later caught up with that driver and took the suspect to the hospital for some minor injuries. Officers arrested the driver but have not released a name at this time. The crash happened around 9 o'clock this morning near Austin Lane, not too far from Coliseum Drive.
Another driver who crashed into the side of a building in High Point is in the hospital right now. Investigators say her injuries are serious. Witnesses tell police the woman was speeding down North Main Street. It happened early this morning when she sideswiped a Lexus and then slammed into the corner of Triad Martial Arts. Paramedics checked out 4 people in the Lexus at the scene.
Concrete fell from a bridge in High Point today, of course startling several drivers.
But the last thing you want to see, the Business 85 overpass is over South Main Street, not far from the O'Reilly Auto Parts. In 12 Investigates tonight, our Leanne Denyer spoke with engineers about exactly what happened and what happens next. Leanne.
So that bridge that we're talking about is just over my shoulder here. Those concrete pieces came off. Engineers were here earlier today taking a look at it, and now we're told that there are short-term and long-term plans in place when it comes to its future. It's the High Point Bridge.
We were notified that there was some concrete falling from the bridge along I-85, I-85 business over South Main Street in High Point.
Pieces of concrete ended up scattered along this busy road, alarming some drivers. Engineers responded, taking a preliminary look.
The bridge is safe. We're not going to have to shut anything down on top of the bridge or below the bridge.
Engineers will be back to inspect it again on Friday.
If there's any loose concrete still there, then we'll remove that. We won't wait and let it fall. We'll go ahead and remove that. If there is a repair that needs to be made, we'll go ahead and make that repair, or if it's something more extensive, then we will probably schedule that work later.
The bridge, built back in 1953, was last inspected in March of 2018. In its report, deficiencies were noted, but engineers say it's safe. So we're told that the bridge is already slated to be replaced. That project is supposed to get underway come 2021. In High Point, Leanne Denyer, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Leanne. White flags are out at the Interactive Resource Center in Greensboro. It opens up anytime the temperatures drop to give people a warm place to stay. The IRC is located on East Washington Street, and the center opens in less than an hour at 7 o'clock.